I actually threw a rock at a kid and he moved and it hit the teacher. Going to my son's high school, was asked by the president of the school to participate in an entrepreneurial panel. It's going to be super funny because I guarantee, just my hypothesis is that the vast majority of the people that'll be on stage with me are going to be like, graduated Harvard Business School and Yale, and I'm going to be like, oh, I barely got a GED. Girlfriend took the test for me, thank you. I want to spit some fire and tell some truth to some of the kids that are out there that are feeling the pressures of, should I go to college? Like, I just feel like, my older son said to me, like, hey man, why are you going to college? He's like, I really just feel like you guys sent me to this school so I can get into that school so I can then go to college. He's like, I just feel like I have to do it. And I was like, damn, like we put that on, you know what I mean? Like that is the culture, right? To send kids off blindly into college without a plan, total waste, right? Especially if they're going into debt to make that happen. Like that's just, it's irresponsible at a level that I can't even stand it. But I'm just of the opinion that maybe today, it's not should you go to college or not. I think it's like, you shouldn't be allowed to go to college unless you know what it is you want to do, right? And if you want to go become, like I was talking to my dentist this morning, a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, let's call it a trade school. Like go in and learn your trade, right? Get very specific about the thing that you want to do professionally. And if you're not clear on that, I think you need to take a gap year. I think you need to go to community college. I think you need to like explore and lean into things that you want and not gouge yourself with how many, potentially tens of, if not $100,000+ in debt. And Tristan, who's behind the camera, is nodding yes. But like, look, there's just certain people, like in your DNA, you're just better at stuff. People that are better at math should be going more towards directions that are math oriented. That also could be music. If you're better with art, then like figure that out. But I think the mistake that I see is like that we're not being responsible and saying, hey, look, if you choose this career path, this is what your life's gonna look like financially. Right now, there's always going to be a scale, right? Like if you become a full-blown film producer, director, like there's all these opportunities, right? So, and it's not always a dollar association, but I think it's a very false narrative to say what everybody was told, which is if you go to college and you get a good degree, you're going to make a ton of money, you're going to get the house, you're going to white picket fence. That's all bullshit, right? I mean, did that work out for you?
No, it did not.
No, right? Did it work out for Steph?
No.
Right? So, his bride to be, like, I didn't go to college, right? So I speak from that experience. I completely honor the fact that if you want to go to college, good on you. I think you should pay for it. I think free college is bullshit, right? I do believe in education without a shadow of a doubt. I am an educator. I just don't believe in education without purpose, direction, and accountability. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Someone with no people skills, how will they become a people person?
How do you develop more people skills?
Yeah.
So I mean, so first of all, there's probably 10,000 books written on this subject. I mean, so like I'm maybe trying to give you something maybe different and unique. I would tell you that having like a personal, like we would call it like a USP, like your unique selling proposition. So why should I hire you versus someone else? And making sure that unique selling proposition is solving a problem for the person that you want the job from, and solving it in a unique way, and also in something that could be repeatable, right? So it wasn't a one-off. It was something that Rohan has done 3 or 4 times now, and you need me. I'm an assassin. I'm coming in. Like, I'm going to solve this problem. So forget the fact that I don't like human beings and don't want to talk to people. I can solve the problem. You with me? Right? Like, as an example. But at the end of the day, the whole world is communication. So I think it's irresponsible. First of all, again, identity. Like, if you identify yourself as someone that's not comfortable talking to people and I'm kind of shy and quiet, like, that's a great story. How's that working out for you? I'm not saying you. No, yeah, but I'm not saying you, but you know what I mean? Like, so it's practice, right? I loved, Garrett, are you the one that said the public speaking course?
Oh, yeah.
Like Toastmasters,
yeah,
right? Like,
great.
take a Toastmasters class. It was so rad that you brought that up, because communication is like, that's all we do.
Nobody realizes how important that is. It's a basis for everything.
Absolutely, right? So Toastmasters, there's a wonderful book called How to Deliver a TED Talk, right? And you can actually, what's even better is go on YouTube, then you could watch, and what you see is they all follow these very similar patterns, and patterns can be taught and patterns can be replicated. No different from, a tennis swing, right? It's a pattern. So the more you run the pattern, the more you win, the more you run the pattern. Does that make sense? But the first thing is, what do you identify as? Right? Like, you can take a person who's morbidly obese and you can do a surgery and staple their stomach and they will lose weight, but if they don't change their identity, they become the fat person again. Because that's how they identify themselves. When I learned that early on in my 20s, I was like, oh my God, like, that's it. How do you identify yourself? Does that make sense? So some of it is psychology up here, working on yourself. Other is just tactical practice. Sign up for a public speaking course, go do 50 of them. You with me? Come intern at my office. I'll put you on the phone for the entire summer and you'll talk to like 30 people a day, surrounded by 80 other people. Doing that, and you'll be like, this is so uncomfortable. Do what makes you uncomfortable. So it was interesting because you even heard other kids say, you just talked to us. Like, they were talking to us like we were kids, right? And I was like, listen, I honor the fact of where you're at, and I'm not gonna change my speaking style or my personality to lower or lesser or higher dependent upon your status in the world, right? So I talk to a CEO the same way, and I talk to a freshman in high school the same exact way. I think that's just being your authentic self versus like people that are like changing it want to be liked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you like me. You guys asked me to be on a panel, you asked me to share my opinion, I'm sharing my opinion. Like, I don't care, right? So I think that's a big part of it. Like, just being authentic, being real. I've learned a long time ago, if you try and act like someone that you're not, you always get caught. Everybody knows it and everybody feels the inauthenticity, of that experience. So, and the great Zig Ziglar used to always say, if you speak to everybody in the seventh grade level, like, everybody understands. I was like, yes, right? Like, totally get it.